Welcome to SOS Media, your number one source of the latest news, opinions, and in-depth investigations that dig deeper into today's developing stories around the globe. In this second part of the series, to remind ourselves about the genesis of R. Kelly's legal woes, we continue to deep dive into the notable events that culminated in the appeal processes that are now ongoing. This information is very important, especially as we keep getting more and more information on the irregularities and injustices that have been deep-rooted in the trial processes, and the now obvious falsification of information by a sizable portion of the government witnesses. On February 13, 2018, R. Kelly, who by this time had spent a fortune in trying to settle his legal problems, was evicted from 2 Atlanta area homes over more than $31,000 owed in unpaid rent. By April 30, 2018, it was like a whole blown-up war when the Time's Up campaign joined the Mute R. Kelly social media campaign, and pushed for further investigations into R. Kelly's alleged behavior. R. Kelly's camp responded by promising to vigorously resist this attempted public lynching of a black man who has made extraordinary contributions to the black culture. Later in May 2018, one of the most popular streaming service provider, Spotify, cut R. Kelly's music from its playlists, quoting its policy on hate content and hateful conduct. Shortly after their hasty action, Apple and Pandora also stopped promoting his music. R. Kelly's team promptly pushed back on this selectivity, noting how other artists on Spotify had been accused or convicted of criminal crimes but still blasting and enjoying a 100% streaming. Later that month, Faith Rogers, who was then age 20, filed a lawsuit accusing R. Kelly of battery, mental and verbal abuse, and knowingly inflicting her with herpes during a year-long relationship. At the start of January 2019, Lifetime had already aired a 3-night documentary titled Surviving R. Kelly, and in our part 1 of this series, we highlighted on how Jay-Z participated in this compilation by funding the Surviving R. Kelly project, in which his former girlfriend Hampton was an executive producer. From R. Kelly's alleged secret marriage to Aaliyah and his 2008 child-related case, for which he was acquitted, and to his alleged cult, R. Kelly's personal life was now on full display, and a number of women, including his ex-wife Andrea Kelly, called out the king of R&B concerning these allegations. The 6-part series gathered vast attention on social media and incited more legal inquiry into these R. Kelly allegations. After his release, prosecutors in Chicago and Atlanta begged potential victims or witnesses to share information about their experiences. At the peak of these docuseries, famous celebrities such as John Legend, Jada Pinkett Smith, Chance the Rapper, and Meek Mill surprisingly banished R. Kelly and advised their fans to do the same. In the same period, Sony and R. Kelly agreed to part ways. It is also unquestionable that R. Kelly's departure from Sony came after several Mute R. Kelly protests took place outside of Sony headquarters in New York City. Following the airing of the explosive docuseries, protests against R. Kelly amplified, resulting in notable artists such as Lady Gaga, Celine Dion, and Chance the Rapper opting to pull out their collaborations with R. Kelly. In the same year, R. Kelly's former manager Henry James Mason gave in to Atlanta police after facing a warrant for his arrest. Mason, who was 52 years at the time, was hit with charges of felony and terroristic threats. Manchin was ultimately accused of making threats to the family of Joycelyn Savage, who was one of R. Kelly's stay-in girlfriends, and whose family appeared on the Lifetime docuseries Surviving R. Kelly, passing on their worry in order to get their daughter back. Savage, however, stood to her guns and maintained that she was with R. Kelly under her own free will. Mason was later released on a $10,000 bond. On March 6, 2019, R. Kelly gave a fiery interview to Gayle King, during which he had an outburst that went viral online. R. Kelly was openly emotional and crying as he defended himself and denied any wrongdoing in line of the allegations. Later in the day, he was arrested by Cook County for failing to pay $161,000 in child support. On July 11, 2019, R. Kelly was indicted by a federal grand jury here in Chicago on charges including CP, enticement of a minor, and obstruction of justice. A separate indictment filed in the Eastern District of New York included charges of racketeering, kidnapping, forced labor, and he was subsequently arrested in Chicago. Eventually, R. Kelly appeared for a hearing at Layton Criminal Court Building in Chicago, Illinois, consequently receiving 2 separate federal indictments in Illinois and Brooklyn. Combined, The allegations depicted an organized effort from R. Kelly and his associates to recruit and transport underage girls over state lines for illegal purposes, including alleged conspiracy to obstruct justice by destroying evidence and bribing or threatening witnesses. Later in August 2019, prosecutors in Minnesota filed charges against R. Kelly, meaning that he then faced criminal cases in 3 U.S. states. He was accused of soliciting a teenager who asked him for an autograph in 2001, and R. Kelly allegedly invited the 17-year-old to his hotel room and offered her $200 to dance with him. R. Kelly's lawyer said that the charges were beyond absurd. In September 2019, R. Kelly's Illinois trial date was announced by authorities here in Chicago as April 27, 2020 for the 13 federal charges in Illinois. R. Kelly remained in custody at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Chicago, whereas a bench warrant was issued for him in Hennepin County District Court in Minnesota for failure to appear, but R. Kelly's attorney Steve Greenberg took to Twitter to dispute the fact that his client failed to appear, saying that neither R. Kelly nor him was served with any notice of court proceedings. In December 2019, Greenberg entered a not guilty plea in R. Kelly's New York racketeering case after the Justice Department added a charge of bribery against him, accusing him of obtaining a false ID for an unidentified woman in 1994. The New York Times, citing a person familiar with the matter, reported that Jane Doe was singer Aaliyah, who was allegedly 15 years old when R. Kelly married her later that year. She unfortunately died in 2001 at the age of 22 in a plane crash. In January 2020, Season 2 of Surviving R. Kelly docuseries packaged as The Reckoning began to hit the airwaves. The Lifetime 5-episode series featured interviews from a variety of perspectives, including more alleged victims, family members, supporters, psychologists, cultural and legal experts. This created a renewed wave of emotions among both the general population and the judicial system alike. Nonetheless, R. Kelly has relentlessly kept moving on, and we remain optimistic that this appeal will be the final milestone in this sea of unclear allegations against him, as we shall share in our next segment. As we continue to witness new developments occurring towards R. Kelly's appeal proceedings, we can just stay optimistic that this time around, the relevant truth will be put into consideration. This is the ray of hope that makes us keep our breath and hold. We believe R. Kelly and his legal team will be able to outline all the injustices, misinterpretations of the law, cases of lying and witness tampering that have marred all R. Kelly's legal proceedings, and that the law, truth and justice will this time along prevail. It has been a long wait, and we can't wait any longer to see R. Kelly regain his deserved freedom. Thank you for watching today's video, brought to you by SOS Media. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of our videos. Also remember to leave your comment about today's topic in the comment section below.